Hello everyone, December the 7th, and it's the day of the Mars occultation today. This is a major event astrologically, energetically. We are now really getting into the serious confrontational modes, and I will show you how and why. So first of all, let's just look quickly at this peak chart, the moment when Mars is most perfectly aligned behind the moon. And you see, well, first of all, the 18th, 19th degree here of Aquarius. That is where Saturn turned direct just a few weeks ago on October the 23rd. And it is the square point to where Uranus stationed in earlier this year, 1858 or something. So it is all within that Saturn-Uranus square energy. Here the chart naturally for Greenwich, for the global fractal of what is going on. And then here you have the occultation, 1602 the Sun, 1605 Moon, and 1607 Mars. Now there's a Scorpio rising here, and actually the full moon is just 7 minutes prior. So this is extremely synchronistic with the full moon being the peak of the energy. So actually the occultation is in the release phase, most exact, the release of the energy. So this means yes, we're just about getting started. That's what it says. I mentioned it months ago. December will be the month where things get really heated. January, likely February are the months of greatest confrontation. So we're just getting into this. Don't expect immediate solutions. The pressure has to rise. We're in the bottleneck, literally, of what is going on right now. There's a few other planets which are super important right now, particularly Elatus and Haumea. Now let me first show you the little clip here which I found on space weather. So first of all, this is where you can observe the occultation of Mars here in North America. So pretty much the whole continent. And then here there's an animation which shows how the in which areas the moon disappears behind the Mars disappears behind the moon. So this is in UTC, Universal Time. So for Pacific it's -8, for Mountain Time -7, and so on and so forth. So where I am here in the Mountain Time, it is anywhere between 8 and 9 p.m. tonight. We hope the skies are clear. It will be a naked eye event, as Mars is the brightest star right now as it is closest to Earth. So there is a lot of Martian energy actually charging up the moon. That's the way I see it. The Mars energy has to filter through the moon to reach Earth in that time. So the moon gets really soaked. The moon in mundane astrology representing the people. Also our very profound, deep connection to the biological reality. It's a primal force. Mars is the one which is male energy, willpower, activity, dominion, putting one's foot down. In Gemini, this energy works through the mind. So it's all about getting better at expressing our thoughts, becoming more articulate, and also insisting, not giving in so fast. That's that whole Mars Gemini energy, which is on for months on end. I did a video a few months ago which shows the progression, and you might want to go back to that one, where I show you the most powerful stations. Today is definitely the center point, as Mars will be exactly on the other side of the Sun as seen from Earth, actually an hour and something later, after the occultation has been exact. Actually, this is still within the occultation in some areas on our planet. This would be 5:41 a.m. Let's just quickly go back here to this animation, so you see this is just about here. You see 5:41 that was. If we just wait here for another second, if you read it here, when it is at 5:41, that is when Mars will start its new synodic cycle. And who would have guessed? Look, it's right over Europe. Europe is definitely the place where things get crazy, are already crazy right now. Just think of the 3,000 farmers which are losing their livelihood, and all the what will happen down the food chain, so to say. We lose all that nutrition that which sustains life. So this is a radical attempt to push people even more into submission, and we have to stand up to that. We have to stand with the farmers. So the confrontation is really at its height now, and it won't subside so fast, as I say. So let's now have a quick peek at this chart with 21 Scorpio rising, and if we scroll back here, I show you something which might really show you the connection. So Haumea entered Scorpio on November the 13th, exactly with that same rising degree for Greenwich. Actually, the Sun was here in Mercury. This is a brilliantly powerful chart here. Haumea is the reform energy we need to get more activated. The fire goddess who created the archipelago of Hawaii, that's the myth behind that goddess. Reform, rebellion, even I would put as keywords for Haumea. And in Scorpio, yes, it's getting real. We are no more just playing around, as it kind of felt like the last 30 years or so when this energy expressed through Libra. Now it's becoming serious. And then there's Elatus, which just entered Scorpio as well a few days ago. Now I want you to look at this chart first with the 0 degree, first degree Capricorn rising. There's a few factors here coming together. Also, let me just go to my notes here. So here we have the 524 Scorpio midheaven, and if we go back to the chart I showed you before, okay, that's the one here, the Mars occultation, when it's exact, has this degree rising. So these two events are connected, and so it is Haumea, then Elatus, and they will actually come into an exact conjunction just within a week or so. That's the one. Okay, I have so many charts open here. Here, that's the one. When there will be an exact conjunction Elatus and Haumea. Now let's think about Elatus for a moment. What is this Centaur planet's energy? I did look up some the internet and found what astrologers have found so far, and this is also my experience, as I have Elatus quite prominently in my chart. It's at crossroads, change of direction, recalibration, new strategy, the ability to improvise. And Amable says incredible abilities to escape from most difficult situations. So it seems something is really building up within us, humanity as a whole. We are starting to see it's no more just a fool's play. This is real. We have to stand together. And as we think back of the latest eclipse season, where Juno was particularly so prominently focused on, it is about coming together and closing shoulders and just saying no. The next chart here I have lined up, which again shows the 21 degree Scorpio rising, and I looked up the 21st degree of Scorpio in Rudyard's little book here. Actually, it is really helping to understand how these planets express themselves in this present time. So the 21st degree of Scorpio, which is so prominent, is, I will read it because it's really hitting the nail on its head. It is describing the energy we do need right now to be activated. It is obeying his conscience. A soldier resists orders. How about that? The keynote: a readiness to face the results of a refusal to follow the authoritarian patterns of an aggressive society. I guess we are getting to the core of the confrontation, and we are reaching the place where the line will be drawn. It's super intense and difficult for many people, but we have to understand that obviously this phase is necessary. It is the trigger point to take back sovereignty and freedom. Arrokoth. Okay, Arrokoth is, for those who are new, is the ability to see patterns. It's the ability to see the whole picture at once and integrate all the different pieces of the puzzle. It's in that sense a wholesome vision, an integral understanding of what is going on, with the moon here at the 7th house cusp close to Uranus. And actually that's one thing very particular about right now, the 7th, 8th of December, that this lunar node and Uranus have been in a months-long conjunction, moving in sync. It was most exact, I guess 2 months ago or so. You could look it up. I did make a talk about it in one of my videos. But the lunar node kind of moves like it goes down a waterfall, and then it stays for quite a few weeks and the same degree. So the lunar nodes had been kind of coming to a plateau, so to say, in their regression, and Uranus had been moving backwards and is still moving backwards into January. Uranus has been closing in on the node, and this is at its closest since it has been exactly conjunct. So it is that additional energy of Uranus and the nodes which makes the intensity even bigger to follow through and go in the right direction, bring this Uranian energy back onto Earth in a real way, give it roots. That's what the sign Taurus is all about. Again, you see Saturn here at the T-square point, actually in all these charts. So it is that Uranus-Saturn square, as I pointed out, which is still super active. The old and the new, which are in a deep conflict. The authority, the false authority, and the rebellion, which are meeting. So Haumea, Elatus, Arrokoth now in hexagram 61, definitely having crossed that 20 degrees 45 mark. Hexagram 61 is inner truth, is that exact resonance which matches Arrokoth's energy. So it is a time of realization of what's truly going on. That is kind of the bottom line of this Arrokoth shift in expression. Now there is this other one which also just actually yesterday night, it already happened very, very early after midnight in Greenwich time, or actually well, it's just about today. Let's just say it that way. That AW197 stations, AW197 has been one I have been talking about once in a while when it becomes prominent. The art of war, the stratagem, the ability to absorb an energy, allow it to come in and do its thing, and then use that momentum and reflect it back. It's kind of that way in martial arts. In Aikido, you're receiving the opponent's push, and you then translate it and turn it over against to defeat the enemy. That's the energy, and it is interesting, and that's why I'm focusing on it, that there's several indications this energy is also becoming way more important. I have here the winter solstice chart for Greenwich again, and you see AW197 is rising exactly at the rising degree, and it is in retreat now for the next few months. Meaning it's every single person has to find their own ways of receiving that push and redirecting it in the best way possible, and we are getting help from everywhere. By the way, this we will get back to that Capricorn ingress of the Sun. You see, it really shows, yes, the confrontation is not over yet. This is actually with Sedna here at the 10th house cusp. Sedna, as you all know, has been repeatedly a big factor, has always shown up in prominent places over the last 2 or 3 years already. It's not over yet. It's that facing of all the abuse and the dark past we are coming out of. That's what it is. Sedna coming back from a 11,000 year orbit around the Sun, having its closest approach to the Sun, I guess around 2074 or something. That's still something like 50 years away, but it is gaining more and more importance, pushing everything into our face which we have forgotten or not wanted to see. So AW197 is the one which works at the hidden level almost. It's stealth and perfectly positioned, coming out of a angle nobody would have expected it. It's about 800 kilometers in diameter, was discovered in the year 2002. It's one of the longest discovered, and clearly outlined its orbit. Smaller planet which has not been given a name yet, only its designation, AW197. So this in itself shows that yes, it is not really wanting to become too prominent. It likes to work in the dark, in the hidden, from behind the scene. So this little body has turned retrograde just yesterday. Here it is again, and it is in a perfect big trine with TX300 and Quasar and Pholus here too. So if you take the midpoint of the Quasar, TX300, and TX300 again is the one which can be loud and very Martian energy, in your face, rude, even and bold. Quasar is a creation force which first has to break through a difficult barrier, kind of breaking the glass ceiling, if you want. It is always at first coming with a challenge, with a difficulty, so it's all seeming to really match together, show that we are approaching a culmination in confrontation. See, 804 and 627, if you do the midpoint you get to 716. That is dead on this AW197's position. Also, Mercury is now in Capricorn, also in this first degree of Capricorn, as we saw the ascendant was just a few days ago when Elatus entered Scorpio. The first degree of Capricorn is, if we again refer to Rudyard, crystallization. That is the first phase of Capricorn as such. The first 15 degrees we're entering into a crystallization phase of kind of all of a sudden, and this makes total sense of seeing the structures, what is truly going on, and it is the claim of leadership, that first degree of Capricorn, which again shows up here in this chart. There's also Jupiter rising here in the last degree of Pisces. I said this would be a phase of going back into the chaos, kind of, when Jupiter went back into Pisces a few months ago, and it's now in this final stage. In its final few weeks it will be entering Aries, actually one day before winter solstice. I think I have the chart here. Yes, here it is. With Mars right at the ascendant. Mars will station on the 12th of January at 8 degrees and 7 minutes. This will be a major turning point. So you can expect the pressure to rise to that early time in January. It's kind of, Mars is still in that phase of taking it in and absorbing what is going on, not yet really ready to be proactive. It's still in that phase of kind of in a shock, in a, oh gosh, is this really what is happening? And that retrograde phase, it is making the important decisions in the background to then full force come forward after it turns direct, which, as I say, is January the 12th. So we are also building power. It is the compression zone, as I said, the phase we are moving through the bottleneck. So I guess I leave it at that. I just wanted to show you that we are really at the height of the confrontation. Maybe one more thing about the degrees the Moon and Mars is in, as this is another super interesting degree, and that is 17 Gemini. Actually, this book, you can find it online if you put that into the search. It's all available. You don't have to buy the book. So the 17th degree of Gemini, where Mars, Earth and the Moon are meeting tonight in their epic alignment, that start of the 22-month Mars Earth Sun dance, the what's called the synodic cycle, when Mars is exactly between, no sorry, when Earth is exactly between Mars and the Sun, Mars at its closest to Earth. The 17th degree of Gemini reads, the head of a robust youth changes into that of a mature thinker. How about that? This is a maturing process, the transformation of physical vitality into the power to build concepts and intellectual formulations through which knowledge can be transferred. It's a mental metamorphosis. That's what we really need on this planet. It's waking up to what has been going on. I guess it is it has not yet been extreme enough for people to fall out of complacency. We need even a bigger kick in the butt. That's what it feels. And with Australia here, down here, we have this long-standing conjunction of Australia, Juno and Nessus, which I pointed out, which is very much in that same tenor of revealing what's wrong, pushing ourselves with pushing us with our nose onto what is not correct. I mean, everything is so exaggerated right now, and this is definitely one of the signs. Australia, Nessus being the pathological behaviors we see everywhere, which are so mean and really heartless in many ways, just trying to push us into the corner to become the slave masters at the level unseen before. That's where we are going, definitely, if we are not pushing back. And it's definitely also the square of Juno here with the Mars and new moon full moon opposition. Juno is coming into a phase of having to mobilize and stand together and work as a team. Pisces, the sign of compassion and understanding that we're all together in this. Everybody is experiencing it from their own perspective, but in the end we are all together in this. There's lots of great promises and silver linings, but it is going to be more difficult than we expected. It has to be that way. We have to accept that fact. And if we do the right thing, hold the ground, say no, put our foot down, draw the line, then we will get to new Earth. It's already here. It's just a matter of really finishing with the old and doing what we have come here to do. So enjoy the occultation tonight, and I will record another one showing you a little more of what's going on from here on into the end of the month, how the energies are arranging themselves to be fully ready by mid-January, when we are having that backing from a direct Mars again to move into our power and to fully take charge of the situations. Thank you for listening, and talk to you soon.